Right now, the music business come from a dimension where it'll come from the rock steady.
You might know Roy as one of reggae's sharpest voices, but there's a lot about his story that doesn't make it into the history books. Born Roy Samuel Reid in 1942 in Kingston, Jamaica, Roy became famous for his clever wordplay, quick wit, and unique toasting style that influenced a whole generation of reggae and dancehall artists. From humble beginnings performing on sound systems to sharing stages with legends like Roy and Big Youth, his rise was anything but ordinary. But fame came with its ups and downs, and his life took unexpected turns that few people talk about today. In this video, we're unpacking the career highs, personal struggles, and the events that led to Roy's final years, so you can get the full picture of this reggae icon's life. Accountant by day, DJ by night. Ever wonder how a government accountant ended up becoming one of reggae's sharpest voices? That's exactly the twist in the story of Roy, born Roy Reid in 1944 in St. Thomas Parish, Jamaica. Before he was dropping iconic lyrics and commanding crowds, he was crunching numbers by day and testing beats by night. After finishing school at Dinthil Technical College, Roy started working for the government as an accountant, but music was calling, and he answered by stepping into the local sound system scene. In 1968, he launched the Soul Bunny sound system, setting up shop at Victoria Pier on Wednesday afternoons. While the job might sound low-key, it was the perfect stage for Roy to experiment with his signature toasting style, blending clever rhymes, humor, and social commentary. Soon, his talents caught the attention of other sound systems, and he began performing with the Sun's junior crew in Spanish Town. This period helped him refine his style, moving from a behind-the-scenes operator to the voice in front of the crowd. Audiences were drawn to his wit and charisma, making him a standout in a competitive scene where every DJ wanted to be heard. By 1971, his skill in toasting and timing caught the eye of producer Harry Muti, who gave him the name Roy. The new moniker came with opportunities in the studio, where he recorded tracks like The Drifter and Heart Don't Leap alongside Dennis Walks. Working with Muti and later with other top producers, Roy honed his craft, pushing the boundaries of what a DJ could do, both on sound systems and in the recording booth. Roy's rise wasn't just about entertaining a local crowd. He became a key figure in the evolution of reggae, influencing other artists who would go on to shape dancehall and beyond. His clever wordplay and fast-paced delivery set him apart, earning him a reputation as one of the most inventive DJs of his era. Even with fame, he remained connected to the communities that nurtured his early career, performing regularly and keeping the spirit of the sound system alive. But like many artists, life off stage was more complicated than it seemed on stage. Balancing his government job and musical ambitions required serious dedication. His career path shows that success rarely follows a straight line. And for Roy, the mix of discipline, creativity, and timing played a big part in shaping his legacy. Through his early experiments at Soul Bunny and Sons Jr., Roy not only carved out his own identity, but also laid the groundwork for a new wave of DJs. His influence extended far beyond his own performances, inspiring a generation of artists who saw that wit, innovation, and connection to the crowd were as essential as rhythm and melody. Roy is born. His journey into music took a sharp turn when producer Harry Muti noticed his talent and gave him the stage name that would stick for life. Roy's early sound owed a lot to the pioneering DJ Roy, but he also drew inspiration from Dennis Al Capone, blending clever wordplay and playful rhythms that made him instantly recognizable. In 1971, he stepped into the studio with Muti and laid down 4 tracks that hinted at the star he would become. Among them were The Drifter and Heart Don't Leap, both recorded alongside Dennis Walks, Let Me Tell You Boy, Over the Ebony Sisters vocals, and Musical Pleasure. These singles showed off his wit, timing, and ability to engage listeners with both humor and sharp social commentary. Not everything was smooth, though. Roy and Muti disagreed over a European tour, prompting him to branch out and work with some of the most influential sound systems in Jamaica, including King Tubby's hometown hi-fi. This move gave him exposure to a wider audience and allowed him to collaborate with top producers like Lloyd Campbell, Bunny Lee, Derek Harriott, Lee Scratch Perry, Glenn Brown, Rupi Edwards, Byron Lee, and Keith Hudson. Each collaboration added new layers to his style and strengthened his reputation as one of reggae's most inventive DJs. Among his notable tracks, Sidewalk Killer from 1972 stood out. Produced by Ruddy Redwood, it was I-Roy's clever take on Tommy McCook's Sidewalk Doctor, showing how he could reinterpret existing material and make it uniquely his own. Fans loved his ability to entertain while injecting pointed social commentary, a balance that kept his music both fun and meaningful. One of I-Roy's most significant partnerships was with producer Gussie Clarke. Clarke was behind most of the tracks on I-Roy's debut album, Presenting I-Roy, released in 1973. The album included several hit singles and helped cement I-Roy's place as a leading voice in the reggae scene. His collaboration with Clarke was productive and influential, giving him the platform to refine his style and reach listeners far beyond Jamaica's borders. During this early period, I-Roy's creativity extended beyond studio recordings. He constantly experimented with vocal delivery, timing, and improvisation, often incorporating popular phrases, nursery rhymes, and humor into his tracks. This approach not only made his music entertaining, but also relatable, drawing fans from different walks of life. His performances became events, with audiences eagerly anticipating the next clever twist in his lyrics. Throughout his career, I-Roy constantly pushed the boundaries of what a DJ could do. His witty toasting, rhythmic precision, and clever lyrics made him a standout performer on sound systems and in the recording studio. He wasn't just a performer, he was a storyteller, able to capture audiences with humor, insight, and a magnetic stage presence. Even as he worked with multiple producers and performed for diverse audiences, I-Roy stayed true to his roots. He continued to innovate while maintaining the humor and sharpness that defined his early work. Whether on stage or in the studio, his approach to music left a lasting mark on reggae, influencing countless artists who followed. His early years, full of experimentation and collaborations, set a standard for what a DJ could achieve, proving that creativity, skill, and charisma could transform a local sound system performer into an internationally recognized musical pioneer. Second album and beyond. Ever wonder how a reggae DJ could turn nursery rhymes and cheeky humor into chart-topping hits? That was I-Roy, a master of mixing clever wordplay with infectious rhythms that made his music instantly memorable. Born Roy Reid, he wasn't just spinning records. He was creating an experience that blended wit, rhythm, and personality in ways few artists could. Following the success of singles like Buckin' the Preacher and Monkey Fashion, I-Roy released his second album, Hell and Sorrow, largely self-produced. The record found an audience beyond Jamaica, catching on in the United Kingdom. Sensing the opportunity, Reid relocated to the UK to promote his third album, The Many Moods of I-Roy, released in 1974. While there, he became a fixture at the Roaring Twenties Club, performing alongside Sir Coxsone's sound system and hitting live shows backed by the band Matumbi. His ability to command a stage and connect with audiences made his overseas venture a success. During his UK stint, I-Roy didn't just perform. He experimented with new sounds and techniques, refining his toasting style and adapting to international audiences without losing his Jamaican roots. His time abroad exposed him to different musical influences. He skillfully integrated into his performances, helping him grow as both an entertainer and a recording artist. Fans appreciated the freshness of his act, which combined the familiar humor and rhythm of his earlier work with subtle innovations that kept audiences engaged. After some time abroad, I-Roy returned to Jamaica just as DJ records were starting to lose mainstream popularity. Rather than slowing down, he shifted his focus to production, working as a house producer at Channel One Studios. Much of this work was credited to the studio owners, but his influence and skill shaped the sound of numerous tracks during that era. In 1975, he returned with several singles produced at Channel One, before teaming up again with Bunny Lee, marking one of the most successful stretches in his career. Around this time, he entered a playful on-record rivalry with fellow DJ Prince Jazzbo. Their musical sparring, which began with I-Roy's track Straight to Jazzbo's Head, consisted of a series of singles trading witty insults. Fans loved the energy, and although it looked like a heated feud, the two DJs were actually close friends off record. By 1976, Roy had caught the attention of Virgin Records, who signed him and released multiple albums through their subsidiary labels. He continued to record with backing tracks played by the Revolutionaries, solidifying his signature sound. During this period, he also compiled many of his hits into the album Truth and Rights, giving fans a single collection of his standout tracks. Meanwhile, his work in Jamaica continued. He released Best of Roy in 1977, produced by Alvin Ranglin, keeping his presence strong on the island while also enjoying international recognition. Through this mix of self-production, collaborations with top producers, and strategic partnerships with labels like Virgin, Roy maintained a steady output of music that appealed to fans both locally and abroad. Roy's legacy during this period wasn't just about albums and singles. It was about style and innovation. His humorous lyrics and unique delivery made DJ records more than just background music. They were performances you couldn't ignore. Tracks from this era reflected his sharp mind, comedic timing, and deep connection to the culture around him, allowing him to stand out even as musical trends shifted. Though the popularity of DJ records eventually declined, Roy's work from the mid-1970s remains influential. He showed that a DJ could be a storyteller, a performer, and a creative force in equal measure. Whether entertaining a packed club in London or crafting tracks in a Jamaican studio, he left an unmistakable mark on reggae music. His ability to connect humor, rhythm, and social insight ensured that the mid-1970s would be remembered as a period when Roy solidified his place as a true innovator of reggae and DJ culture. The 80s. What happens when a trailblazer suddenly finds the stage taken over by a new generation? That was the challenge Roy faced in the 1980s as reggae shifted into the dancehall era. Known for his witty lyrics and clever delivery, Roy had dominated the DJ scene for more than a decade. But the rise of younger performers and a changing musical landscape made it clear that times were changing. The early 1980s marked a turning point for Jamaican music. A new wave of DJs emerged, experimenting with faster rhythms, punchy beats, and the distinct style that would come to define dancehall. Artists like Yellowman and Ika Mouse quickly captured the attention of audiences, bringing fresh energy and a new flavor to the genre. Their rise meant that Roy, whose charm had long been rooted in clever wordplay and storytelling, faced declining commercial appeal. Despite these challenges, Roy didn't stop creating music. In 1981, he released Dr. Fish, followed by Outer Limits in 1983. Both albums showed that he still had the drive and creativity to produce tracks, but the market had shifted. Dancehall fans were drawn to the newer sound, and Roy's style, while still respected, didn't generate the same level of excitement or sales as before. During this period, Roy also experimented with new production techniques and collaborations, trying to adapt without losing the signature humor and sharp timing that had made him a star. He worked with local bands and studio musicians to maintain a polished sound. He also continued performing at local venues and sound system events. Even if the crowds weren't as large as in his prime, his dedication never waned, and he remained a mentor figure to younger DJs entering the scene. Over time, the quality of his output also suffered. Part of this was simply the natural result of a long career. Keeping up with production schedules, evolving trends, and maintaining creativity over decades is not easy. But it also reflected the reality that the music industry had moved on. The same elements that had made Roy a superstar in the 1970s were no longer enough to dominate the charts or command the spotlight. Still, Roy's contributions during this period shouldn't be overlooked. Even if commercial success was harder to come by, he remained active, performing and recording, while mentoring younger artists and keeping his unique style alive. His dedication to music, despite the shifting tides, demonstrated a commitment to his craft and an understanding that influence isn't always measured in record sales or chart positions. The decline of his popularity also highlights an important lesson about musical evolution. Genres evolve, audiences change, and new artists bring fresh perspectives that redefine what's popular. Roy's story during the 1980s shows that even pioneers must adapt, or risk being overshadowed. Yet his earlier work continued to inspire, and his contributions laid the groundwork for the DJs who followed, influencing the very style that was now eclipsing him. By continuing to release albums and perform, I-Roy proved that creativity isn't bound by charts or trends. Even as dancehall took center stage, his approach to lyricism, timing, and humor remained influential, providing a bridge between roots reggae DJs and the new generation of performers. His persistence and willingness to keep producing music, even when it didn't sell as well, speaks to his love of the art form and his resilience as an artist. Ultimately, I-Roy's experience in the 1980s is a reminder that artistic legacy isn't always measured by immediate success. While the dancehall era brought new stars to the forefront, his pioneering work in the 1970s and early 1980s had already left a mark on reggae music. His witty lyrics, innovative toasting, and unique style influenced countless performers and ensured that his place in Jamaican music history remained secure, even as the spotlight shifted. His ability to continue creating during a period of change demonstrated a dedication to his craft that went beyond fame or commercial success. Building his own studio. After decades of innovation and influence in reggae, the 1990s brought a mix of health challenges, financial strain, and periods of homelessness that contrasted sharply with the vibrant career he had once enjoyed. Despite these difficulties, I-Roy never completely stepped away from music. In the early 1990s, he began building his own studio in Spanish Town. Though the project was never finished, it showed his determination to remain involved in creating music and mentoring younger talent. Even as personal challenges mounted, his dedication to his craft remained evident. He continued to experiment with rhythms, vocal styles, and production ideas, quietly maintaining the creative spirit that had defined his career. Unfortunately, recurring health problems made sustaining his career increasingly difficult. With his finances strained and opportunities dwindling, I-Roy faced living on the streets. A stark reminder of how fleeting fame can be and how even trailblazers are vulnerable to life's unpredictability. Yet, amid this adversity, his musical legacy continued to find new audiences through reissues and compilations. '91 saw Trojan Records release We Chat You Rock, 2 DJ Clash, the best of Ja Woosh and I-Roy, a compilation that paired him with Ja Woosh and featured tracks from his first 2 albums. That same year, Virgin Records released Crisis Time, Extra Version, bringing together selections from Wappin' Bappin' and Heart of a Lion from 1978. These releases introduced his work to listeners who may have missed it the first time around, and reminded fans of the clever lyricism and innovative style that made I-Roy a standout performer. Even later in the decade, his music continued to be celebrated. In '97, Steve Barrow's Blood and Fire label released Don't Check Me with No Lightweight Stuff, focusing on his 1972 to 1975 period. The compilation highlighted tracks like Sidewalk Killer, showcasing the sharp wordplay and distinctive delivery that had made him influential in the first place. These releases reinforced I-Roy's role as a pioneer of the DJ style, even as he faced personal struggles away from the spotlight. During this time, fellow musicians and reggae enthusiasts frequently cited I-Roy as a major inspiration, keeping his reputation alive within the community, even as mainstream recognition remained limited. DJs and producers studied his techniques. Newer generations sampled his tracks and drew from his unique approach to toasting. This quiet but persistent influence ensured that his contributions to reggae remained embedded in the genre. Despite this posthumous attention, the lack of widespread recognition during his lifetime remains one of the greatest tragedies of his career. He had helped shape reggae's DJ culture, influenced countless artists, and produced music that still resonates today. But public and commercial acclaim didn't always reflect the magnitude of his contributions. His story is a stark example of how cultural impact doesn't always translate to financial stability or long-term security, showing that even musical pioneers can face hardships far removed from the spotlight they helped create. Final years. Sometimes, even the brightest stars face shadows too heavy to ignore. That was the story of I-Roy, born Roy Samuel Reid in 1944 in St. Thomas Parish, Jamaica. Known for his sharp wit, playful lyrics, and revolutionary contributions to reggae and DJ culture, I-Roy captivated audiences for decades. Yet his final years were marked by personal tragedy, health struggles, and the harsh reality of life outside the spotlight. His clever wordplay, humorous toasting, and socially aware lyrics set him apart from other performers of his era. and inspired countless artists who followed in his footsteps. But while his art flourished, life dealt him difficult blows in ways no stage could shield him from. In October '99, I-Roy's world suffered a devastating loss when one of his two sons died while incarcerated. The grief and shock were immense. For a man who had faced financial struggles and periods of homelessness in earlier years, this tragedy compounded already heavy burdens. Barely a month later, on 27 November '99, Roy Reid passed away from heart failure in a hospital in Spanish Town at the age of 50. The circumstances surrounding his final days painted a stark contrast to the vibrant life he led through music, highlighting both the fragility of human life and the silent struggles that often accompany public figures. Even amid these hardships, I-Roy continued to exert influence. Posthumous compilations and reissues from labels like Trojan, Virgin, and Blood and Fire introduced his work to new audiences, spotlighting tracks such as Sidewalk Killer, Buck and the Preacher, and Monkey Fashion. These collections reminded listeners of the precision, humor, and lyrical dexterity that made him a pioneer of the DJ style, and preserved his work as a reference for younger musicians studying reggae and dancehall. His death also brought renewed attention to the importance of recognizing pioneers during their lifetimes. I-Roy's later years had been marked by financial instability and periods of homelessness, despite decades of shaping a musical genre. These difficulties highlight the disconnect that sometimes exists between cultural influence and public acknowledgement. Yet, tributes like Linton Kwesi Johnson's acknowledgement in Street Sickets show that among peers and aficionados, during this period, the reverence for his artistry extended beyond reggae circles. Scholars, music historians, and fellow DJs cited his innovative techniques as foundational to the evolution of toasting, rhythmic phrasing, and stage performance. His approach to lyric blueprint for aspiring DJs explores the intersection of entertainment and message-driven music. Even amid personal hardship, the respect for his contributions kept his name alive in the cultural conversation. In reflecting on his life, it's clear that I-Roy's story embodies both triumph and tragedy. He transformed the Jamaican DJ scene, built a legacy through wit and lyrical prowess, and inspired countless artists. Yet his life also serves as a cautionary tale about the volatility of fame, the unpredictability of personal challenges, and the importance of support for those who shape cultural history. Even in death, I-Roy continues to be celebrated. Posthumous compilations, documentaries, and critical analyses of his work ensure that new audiences encounter his contributions. Tracks like Sidewalk Killer, Buck and the Preacher, and Monkey Fashion remain benchmarks of reggae toasting and DJ innovation. For music historians and fans, his influence is undeniable, reminding us that the value of creative work often far exceeds the recognition received during an artist's lifetime. Ultimately, the final chapter of I-Roy's life is a blend of sorrow and reverence. He left the world on 27 November '99, aged 55, after enduring personal tragedies and health struggles. Yet the energy, humor, and creativity he poured into his music live on. From his early days on sound systems in Jamaica to being celebrated by peers like Linton Kwesi Johnson, I-Roy's mark on reggae and DJ culture is permanent. His story is a powerful reminder of the highs and lows of artistic life, the human struggles behind the music, and the enduring power of innovation and voice in shaping culture. Leaving his mark. His influence echoes through the work of artists like U-Roy, Dennis Al Capone, and even hip-hop pioneers. But what exactly did I-Roy bring to the table that made him so impactful? I-Roy's lyrics were more than just rhymes. They were clever, humorous, and often socially conscious. He had a knack for blending nursery rhymes with sharp commentary, making his tracks both entertaining and thought-provoking. This unique style set him apart from his contemporaries and paved the way for future artists to experiment with language and delivery. His work demonstrated that a DJ could be a performer, a storyteller, and a commentator, all at once. I-Roy's influence didn't stop with his own recordings. His innovative approach to toasting inspired a new generation of reggae and dancehall artists. His collaborations with producers like Gussie Clarke and Lee Scratch Perry showcased his versatility and helped shape the sound of the genre. These partnerships not only produced hit singles, but also set a standard for quality and creativity in reggae music. DJs studied his timing, phrasing, and stage presence, incorporating elements of his style into their own performances. Even after his passing in '99, I-Roy's impact continues to be felt. His music remains a staple in reggae collections, and his style is often cited as foundational in the evolution of reggae and hip-hop music. His ability to blend storytelling with rhythm resonated with hip-hop artists, leading to a cross-pollination of styles that enriched both genres. Even sound engineers and producers adopted his approach to layering vocals and beats, contributing to the evolving production techniques that define modern reggae and early hip-hop. Though I-Roy faced challenges in his later years, his contributions to music have been recognized posthumously. Compilations of his work have introduced his innovative style to new audiences, ensuring that his influence continues to inspire artists worldwide. His clever phrasing, rhythmic precision, and witty lyrics remain study material for aspiring DJs and musicians, proving that innovation in performance can ripple across generations. I-Roy's journey from the sound systems of Jamaica to international acclaim is a testament to his talent and resilience. His innovative approach to toasting and his impact on reggae, dancehall, and hip-hop have left an indelible mark on the music world. As artists continue to draw inspiration from his work, I-Roy's legacy remains a vibrant part of musical history, reminding us that pioneering creativity can transcend borders, genres, and generations. Ever notice how some voices never truly fade, even when the world seems to move on? That's the story of I-Roy, a man whose lyrics, wit, and innovation shaped reggae long before many fans even knew his name. From his early days on Jamaica's sound systems to becoming a trailblazer in DJ culture, I-Roy showed that music could be clever, playful, and socially aware all at once. His journey was full of highs and lows. He started as a government accountant, but the stage called, and he answered with a talent that couldn't be ignored. By blending humor, storytelling, and rhythmic precision, I-Roy transformed simple tracks into unforgettable performances. He worked with legendary producers like Gussie Clarke, Lee Scratch Perry, and Bunny Lee, and created hit albums such as Presenting I-Roy, Hell and Sorrow, and The Many Moods of I-Roy. Songs like Sidewalk Killer, Buck and the Preacher, and Monkey Fashion highlighted his unique style, showing how a DJ could be both entertainer and poet. Even as his popularity declined with the rise of dancehall in the 1980s, I-Roy never stopped creating. Albums like Dr. Fish and Outer Limits proved he still had the spark, even if the spotlight had shifted. Yet, the challenges of life off stage were relentless. Health problems, financial struggles, and periods of homelessness painted a stark contrast to the vibrant energy he brought to the stage. The loss of one of his sons in October '99 and his own passing just a month later in November brought his story to a heartbreaking close. Still, I-Roy's legacy refuses to be overshadowed. His clever toasting style influenced countless reggae and dancehall artists, and even early hip-hop pioneers drew inspiration from his rhythmic phrasing and wordplay. Compilations released after his death, like Don't Check Me With No Lightweight Stuff, continue to introduce new generations to his genius. I-Roy's life is a testament to the power of creativity, perseverance, and innovation. While the final years were tragic, the music he left behind is timeless. Every clever lyric, every infectious rhythm, and every performance is a reminder that true artistry leaves a mark far beyond fame or fortune. His story challenges us to remember the people behind the music and celebrate the pioneers whose influence echoes long after the last note fades. Even in silence, I-Roy speaks through his music, his wit, and the countless artists he inspired, and that's a voice that will never be forgotten.